So we're going to do something a little different today. I recently rewatched Dark Corner Review's top 25 movie posters, and I basically got the idea of like, hey, I really like horror movie posters. So for this three-part storyline, we're going to be talking about my top 25 horror movie posters. And yes, there is a bit of crossover with Dark Corners videos if you've seen that, but some of these posters are just that freaking good. Now, as with any list, this is just my top 25. If you think a poster should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine with you. I got no problem with that. So I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. And this is going to be an interesting video because I really want to hear like people's thoughts on the artwork of the poster. Because sometimes the poster is better than the movie. God knows we will probably be talking a lot about that, especially when we kick this list off. Now, again, this is just personal preference. So, just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's get started at number 25. Number 25 is the Japanese poster for the giant spider invasion. To everyone who has ever seen the giant spider invasion, you don't lie, you didn't watch this movie. You watched the riff tracks and or the Mystery Science Theater version of this movie. You know it's not good. But the poster, the Japanese poster goes so freaking hard. Like it goes on. Like I feel bad for every citizen in Japan in the 1970s who got tricked watching this movie from the poster. But I love the amazing detail behind all of this. It looks like a giant spider terrorizing a city. People are running for their lives. There's beautiful color and detail. I love it. And it looks like there's just so much going on with this. But then you actually watch the movie and you want to just blow your brains out. Or, yeah, like I said, I feel bad for every citizen of Japan who watched this movie because they thought they were going to get a cool kaiju movie from America. Yeah. I'm sorry. On behalf of the U.S. citizens, I'm sorry. Not just for that, but for a lot of things. Anyway, let's move on to number 24. And at number 24, we have The Mummy from Hammer Horror. The Mummy the Mummy movie poster is great. It gives you I love it personally because it really does feel like a classic, like Tales from the Crypt comic book cover. Like you would see that as a comic cover from an EC Comics book where it's a woman screaming and there's gunshots through the hole. And fun fact, this poster was made before the movie was made by, Peter Cushing looked at this poster and went, well, hold on, let's actually make ourselves relevant with that hole through because it was supposed to just be a cool image. But that scene, if you've seen the 1950s Mummy movie, then you'll see Peter Cushing like grab a spear and impale it through the mummy's torso. And that would explain why we have this hole in the movie, because he's looked at that and went, I don't want us to be liars. I love it. I think, though, if we took out, this is going to sound so odd, I feel like if we took the screaming woman out, it'd be perfect. I feel like she's it's almost like she's I know she's not, but like it almost feels Photoshop in there. If we just had because you're not really looking at her, you're looking at that. You're looking at the mummy and the cool hole image, honestly. So I thoroughly believe the mummy, this would be way more perfect if we just took the generic screaming woman out and just left as is. Because, the moment you saw this image, when I pulled it up, what are you looking at? Not her, the mummy. So, yeah. Now we come to number 23. At number 23, we have The Howling. You see, I like a lot of other people, love horror movie posters but they can only be one of two ways: minimalist or horror or like bombastic. There's a balance there, and The Howling really reaches it. I love the tagline: "Imagine your worst fears a reality." And there's like a woman tearing through. It doesn't give you anything, but it gives you so much of like what looks to be like skin or leather being torn out and a woman screaming from her fingernails, but there's just something unnatural about those fingernails. It just keeps you guessing through the whole look through it, you know? I really love this. It gives like nothing conveys werewolf here. Only thing that could really convey werewolf is the howling, and even then, you really have this. You really just have this whole. It could be anything. The only thing that really conveys werewolf is the title, but there's just something about that image that grabs you of just a woman screaming through what and tearing through like claws. So yeah. Next up, we have the Invisible Man. So the Invisible Man, I love this poster. It's, as you guys know, the Invisible Man's my favorite Universal monster movie, and a lot of like there is so much going on here in this. Like I love the image of like, yes, you get the rest of the supporting cast here of all of that, but what I love the most about this poster is the image of the Invisible Man. And it's kind of funny that I bring that up because if you look at a lot of classic Universal monster posters, you really do see like they either have the head or the monster themselves towering over the image, like almost like another one that I just made a reference to by doing this inadvertently. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, I kind of spoiled that one, but we'll get to that one. But what I like most about this one with the head, with the head over the title or head over characters, what I really like about the Invisible Man's poster is that it almost looks like Griffin is staring down. Like he has that sense of that superiority he carries through the movie. Like, yeah, these were people I knew, but now they're peons to me. And I also like the reflection, almost like rays coming from, even though that doesn't really happen, and not at all actually, from the glasses, like the reflective lens. And you see like the smoke coming through the flares of the lens for the Invisible Man, for the Invisible Man's glasses, excuse me. So I really do like that. I also like the addition of like the professor's beaker and the smoke coming through it and almost making an image of the Invisible Man, almost like he's looking at the very monocane that turned Jack Griffin into the Invisible Man. So I really do like that. There's so much little details like that I really enjoy. There's so much you can really interpret with this poster. All right, moving on now to Without Warning. Without Warning if you haven't seen it yet, Without Warning is a great movie. I really do recommend it. Without Warning has a very subtle horror poster, like great poster, and also this predate. If you haven't seen Without Warning is basically a horror movie where an alien comes to Earth to hunt and devour humans. And this predates Predator by, I think, like 5 years. And actually, Kevin Peter Hall plays the alien in this movie. Yeah, Kevin Peter Hall, the guy who went on to play the Predator, played it here first. So yeah. But I love like the image of, you don't really see you see the silhouette of the alien. You don't see like the full face. And I love how you get this very detailed, shrouded image of the forest and 4 very frightened teens in a very wrecked Jeep. It doesn't really happen like that in the movie, but I do like it. And it's actually it's clearly a reminiscent of another horror movie poster, which, trust me, we'll get to that one later. But yeah, I also love the shading of the red and orange, giving it like a very alien, again, that very alien hue to the colors. I really do like that. So Without Warning is a very underrated movie, and I do recommend it. But yeah, the poster's just perfect as well. There's so much going on. I love also, you see the alien shack in the background and a light coming on. I love that. It's just like, I love posters like these where you can keep looking at it and find other details if you're, but also still feel minimalist. Does that make any sense? Yeah. All right. Following that, The Descent. The Descent, there's a lot of modern horror movie posters that I just don't like. There's very little effort put into them. Not to say every modern horror movie poster is just generic garbage, but I feel like there's a missing art now, emphasis on art. But this is not one of those things. The Descent is made of all the actresses put together in a skull, in the form of a skull in a deep crevice. And while it doesn't really give you any kind of indication of what the movie is, it's a striking image nonetheless, and is actually a reference to a French photographer's art with several women as well. I know it's called something. If you go to Dark Corner's video, they kind of explain it better. But yeah, I love that. It's a cool, subtle reference to actual art. I really do. Yeah, and I also love how the lighting, and even though you don't really see a lot of their faces, the ones you do, it looks painful. They look contorted. There's this just, it just gives you a lot, you know? Anyway. So next up, we have The Mummy, the original Boris Karloff one. This might be my favorite of the Universal Monster posters. And I don't know if I can properly convey why that is, because sometimes I don't know if I can properly convey why I love these posters, why I love this, why this is my favorite Universal Monster poster. On my wall, it is, you can't see it, but it's a massive image. So, as I was saying, this trailer, this poster has so much going for it. I love the hues of blue mixed with all the different colors of red, yellow, brown. And it's very striking of Karloff's mummy, especially if you look at Karl. Again, we go over the image of, you're looking at that first, that image of the mummy, a creature that we don't really see as Karloff for only less than like 2 minutes in total. But as I said, look at the shading and look at the colors that just bound. You could look at that image of the mummy and just stare at it for hours, and get so many other beautiful images and see all these little details from just the coloring and shading alone, for the mummy. And then, not to distract, but then you have Zeta Johann, in front of a wall of hieroglyphics, and looking stunning with, again, all these different shades and beautiful colors. And again, it almost like she fades into the dark of the blue, but there's this striking this striking red dress that pulls her away from it. And again, there's this beautiful look of all these different shades and contour. You can see little details of the dress moving. I also love the colorization of the arm in the shadows. I don't know if I can properly convey how much as to why this poster is my favorite of the Universal Monster posters. It looks so simple, but yet there's just so much complex shading and colorization that just makes you want to look at it more and more and find other details in the color. Anyway, next up, Halloween. I know. It should be higher, but it's my list, my rules. Halloween is just such a simple, like I was saying with, like I was kind of talking about with the Howling. Halloween doesn't give you anything, but it gives you everything at the same time. It's a pumpkin with a hand with a knife in front of it. And I love all the shading, the light is coming from the jack-o'-lantern. And the jack-o'-lantern is almost like it's almost giving this convey as oh yeah, I'm killing you. That's what it feels like. And the tagline of "the night he came home." How much does that just picture yourself in the 70s and seeing this movie poster and not getting anything other than that tagline and a knife with a jack-o'-lantern and just the title Halloween, nothing, and a pitch, and actually the all black screen. The all black and the rest of the poster really absolutely accentuates the color you're seeing. It's almost like the color itself, the darkness itself, is making you look at that image dead center. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. Yeah. So moving on, we have House on Haunted Hill. Look how much fun this is. Like, look how much goofy shit is here. Like, you've got a skeleton, a giant skeleton in front of a haunted house that looks nothing like the one in the movie, like holding a noose around a woman's neck. And you've also got like an acid bath, which is there, and Vincent Price. It again, this really conveys of like what I said with the Hammer Mummy movie poster, was that for the Hammer movie poster, it feels like a Tales from the Crypt cover. And by God, this, I could apply that here as well. Like, I could actually apply that same kind of logic to this poster too. I mean, again, I love the just the fun of it. And again, Vincent Price right there. It tells you right there. This isn't a scary movie. It actually is kind of like, when you see it the first time, there's some creepy moments, but you're in for it's like a goofy fun time. That's what this poster's telling you. And hey, it's Vincent Price. You're gonna have, like, Vincent Price is fun. You like that. And look at all the, like, I feel like if we didn't have the giant skeleton and holding the hung woman, and just had Vincent Price there, I feel like that would have been a tone of, this is way scarier than it is. But the giant skeleton almost tells you, we're all having fun here. Anyway, so to cap off for this part, here is the next pick. Prophecy. Prophecy is not a good movie, but again, like another movie with Kevin Peter Hall plays the monster. And Prophecy is a fun bad movie. I will say that. If you've ever seen a clip of like a mutant bear swatting a kid in a sleeping bag and it explodes into puff, that's this movie. Prophecy, the trailer, I mean, the poster tells you nothing, but at the same time, it's still like, could be fun. She lives. Don't move. Don't breathe. There's no way to run. She will find you. And you have this horrible image of like a mutant creature that is meant to be a bear in this egg sack. And you see Prophecy, the monster movie. Much like what I said with Halloween, the darkness just makes you focus directly on that image of this ugly, deformed bear. Although I will say it probably made people think of a Rosemary's Baby kind of ripoff first and foremost than anything else, which, yeah. But still, I love the colors that kind of seem to radiate from the egg sack. And you see like all these little details of the mutant bear. It's a very, like, again, a cool poster for a bad movie. But still, anyway. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much part one of my horror movie poster. So hope you all enjoyed this. And yeah. So yeah, we'll move on to part two in a bit. But yeah, hope you all like this. And other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.